Good morning, friends. Of course, a plane comes the second I start talking, but it is a little cold and very early on a wonderful October day here in Northwest Virginia. I just had a few minutes. I'm outside with Mo. I'm trying to get a specimen from him, if you know what I mean. He's going to the vet this morning, and then I have to finish up a canning project. But I've been trying to get out here to do my final garden update video for 2021. I did not do September, but really not as much has changed since then, so I figured I'd bring the camera outside with me, take a couple minutes and show you what the garden looks like kind of before I put it to bed over the winter. So kind of starting here with this garden, this is my only transplant mum that is doing quasi okay, and it doesn't even look that great. I moved this one in the spring, so he's hanging on. Here are my spirea that never bloomed this year because the deer ate all the buds off, and my lilac is in the middle there. I really like that lilac. It does so well around Mother's Day, I think is when it bloomed this year. So I'm excited to see what he does next year. These three spirea, I have plans to remove and put something else. They just don't really perform and the deer keeps going after them. The marigolds that I planted in the spring are kind of coming to an end doing their thing. They're still doing the fall colors, which is really pretty. Here's that butterfly bush that I transplanted in the spring. He got some good height. We had some buds, some late buds compared to the ones in the back. So I'm going to, what I do for these guys, here in zone 7B, I think is what I am. I do not cut these back in the fall, I cut them back in the spring. So you kind of have to look at them all winter. My theory is the stems are hollow. I don't want them to fill with ice and damage the plant. So I leave them till the spring. Once we get our last frost, I'll pretty much cut him to about a foot off the ground just to kind of keep them from looking scraggly. That seems to work. I've been doing that for about a decade now with my butterfly bushes. These are what's left of my petunias, if you can even see them. These I will pull up. I'm going to pull these up probably this weekend, and squirrels have been foraging there, burying their acorns, getting ready for winter. Our grass is looking really good. I love the way the grass looks in the fall. It's so bright green. So update on the front garden, we also moved this one this spring. It looks okay. So these are the, well, I can never remember what these are called. My Helleborus. I moved these, Helleborus. I moved these in the spring. They did not really like being moved, but they're okay. I am seeing some new growth on some of these. I will do a video probably right after Christmas coming in and cleaning these because they actually bloom here again in Virginia, garden zone 7B, in January, February, something like that. So I'll come and clean them up. I will come in at some point and cut back these hostas. I'll probably do like a fall cleanup video. I've always read that if you leave them, you attract slugs, and I do not want to do that. So we're going to cut these back. These are the burning bushes. I still don't like them there. They came with the house. I've just moved them around a bunch of times. I want to replace those with some kind of boxwood or something eventually. Maybe 2 springs from now we'll do that. My Mother's Day hanging plants have about had it. They're going to be replaced with bird feeders probably this weekend. Over here, these hostas did quasi okay. I've mentioned it before that I want to get rid of that hosta right there. I'm not going to throw him away. I'm going to move him somewhere. He just looks kind of weird there with the rest of those types of shrubs. So next spring, well, I'll be postpartum. I don't know if I'll be able to do it next spring. One spring, I'm going to move him. My hydrangeas here are, I don't know the actual name because they came with the property. The builder had planted them. They bloom on old wood. I did give them a little bit of a haircut. They did not bloom. I saw some blooms on them and the deer came and ate them off. So I would love to replace these because this is kind of a full shade area with rhododendrons eventually. That is my game plan. And then in the winter I don't have to look at sticks because rhododendrons are like an evergreen. This is a something boxwood. These have just been doing so great here. I can't remember the names of these, but they have tons of flower buds for next year, which is wonderful. I spray them with deer off every just once in a blue moon. I did have one fall where the deer came and ate all the buds off, so it didn't flower the next year. This is just a weed and a volunteer impatient from, I think I planted impatiens 3 years ago. It's amazing what comes back and what doesn't. Here's those planters doing strong that I planted a couple weeks ago. These are the New Guinea impatiens, which are doing really, really well. They make me happy. But I think they are probably, as soon as the first frost comes, they're gonna go. These petunias are performing so well still. I will pull these up when they start to look kind of poopy, but I love this. This was 3 plants. This one over here was 4 plants. and they're doing so amazing. The dirt must just be so much better here than the front yard. As soon as they start looking poopy, I will pull them up. The hydrangea, the Firelight hydrangea, looks great. I am going to also leave that guy, and then in the spring I will cut him back to about a foot after the risk of frost. It's been a weird canna season. My cannas grew, but they didn't really flower as much as they have in years past. My dad said the same thing happened to his cannas, so I also cut those back in the fall. We'll just see what they do next year. This is what makes me sad. My poor mums. Because I had such horrible morning sickness, I did not get out here to water them. They were all budded out and looked so pretty, and then in August they just didn't get enough water and all died back. I tried trimming them a little bit to see if they'd come back, but they didn't. They do have some growth. I'm going to leave these the way they are all fall and winter, and then after the first frost I cut them all the way back. If I look down at the base, I do see green growth, so I know they're alive. They just did not like Virginia's extremely dry summer. I think what I'm going to ask Matt to do next year is put an irrigation hose in here, especially since I'll have a newborn, so that way they can stay watered and I don't have to monitor them as much. Also, this guy made me sad. And I think my last one I showed how budded out he was, and I had gone through the trouble of cutting him back twice in May and June, I believe it was, to prevent them from collapsing over. This mum in particular, chrysanthemum, has beautiful, dense yellow flowers. Like, I don't even know if it'll pick up how many buds were on this. It's so sad, but it is what it is. What else do I have over here? These, I mean, it's so funny when I planted these, I thought they were petunias, if you saw that video when I was planting them, and they ended up being a packet of New Guinea impatiens. This is just a seed pack that I found in the basement. I was like, let me use it up. I don't even know if they'll flower. I do like these though. They're very low maintenance for me in my area, so I'm going to plant them again. The Russian sage, which is what this guy is doing so well over here. I had pulled him out from the butterfly bush. He was kind of getting lost in there. So he looks super happy. I'm also just going to leave him, trim him in the spring. I'm shocked I was able to keep my lavender alive. I usually end up killing this plant. He is getting overpowered by the butterfly bush, so I probably will move him. I have plans for this whole area to move all this stuff out. So here are my 3 butterfly bushes. I love these things. They're just a little big. I've talked about this before. I did trim them 2 times over the spring. I think in May and June I just took off about a foot off the top, trying to encourage them to grow bushy instead of straight up so they don't collapse like they did last year. Ideally, what I would like to do, I talked about this before, I'd love to push this garden bed out about like 5 or 6 feet and just push the butterfly bushes away from the house a little bit. Maybe even move this one from the corner on this side so they're all just on that front side of the screened in, and put something else here. But like I said, I'm pregnant and due in February, so it's probably not going to happen this spring. But they look great. They did wonderful this year. Tons of blooms, tons of butterflies. The hummingbirds love them. And then here's the new garden bed that we had professionally planted on the detached garage a couple of months ago. I think that was June or July. So these are all azaleas. They are like a dwarf azalea here, flanked by 1 and 2 larger breed of azaleas. I don't know what flower color these guys are going to be, but my little ones are blooming already. I was saying, hey guys, it's too early. But they look really healthy and good. We did have irrigation on this all summer, so they would be okay. This tall tree, the holly, some kind of holly, I can't remember which one it is, looks great. It's doing really, really well. And then I can't remember what these little ones are called. I'm blanking. I'll put it up on the screen. They come in all different pretty foliage, and they're okay. It's just they're done with their season, but a mess of those are planted around the holly, so we'll see if all of those come back. If not, I can easily transplant them. And then, not super exciting, but in the backyard, Matt had taken the BX and the land plane, I think that's what it is, and the box grader, and he had moved all the topsoil from the driveway project over the summer, put some topsoil down here and just planted grass he had, and it's coming in really, really well. So we shall see. We have had a lot of problem here. It's hard to tell, but the grade dips a little bit, and this just erodes when it rains, just washes water. So it would be nothing but rock. The actual dirt would just keep washing that way. So we're going to try this first. If that doesn't work, we're going to do something else with maybe like a plastic mesh to hold the grass seed on. So we shall see. Okay, so that's just my little quick garden tour for October, kind of putting everything to bed. We had a really good year. I'm happy. There was a couple of things like my mom's that made me really, really sad, but it is what it is, but it's okay. Like I said, I think I'm going to do a garden cleanup video. There's 2 weekends till Halloween. We've been pretty busy coming and going, having family over. We have Halloween coming up, and then my sister-in-law is coming but I have a week in between Halloween and when she's coming. I think that's when I'm going to do my garden cleaning up. I'll film that and show you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. But in the meantime, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye.